How's it going, guys? Welcome to another episode of ADT Fishing. So today I want to talk about the gear that I'm going to bring to college with me. I've seen a lot of other people bring a lot of gear out on the water with them. I tend to bring too much myself. Still not as enough as some of the, or not as much as some of these other people, but um, I'm going to try to limit myself since I am going to be living in a dorm room with another person. And you probably see dorm rooms are not the biggest area to live in. So I need to be able to limit what I can bring, and I really don't want to leave a bunch of stuff in my truck. So, um, first off, I'm going to start with the rods I'm going to bring. So, I'm going to bring one spinning rod and one bait caster. So, here's my spinning rod. Um, it's This was my first actual spinning rod. Um, so it's a bit old, not really that old. I mean, they still sell it at the store and stuff, but I didn't really go all out with it. Um, so this one here, it's a Shimano. I believe it's 6'6" medium. Sorry for the cats walking in the background. So I mean, medium action Shimano, and I think they call it a Stimula. Yeah, Stimula. Um, but this is my first spinning rod. It also normally comes paired up with a Shimano reel. However, I don't have any more 10-pound braid. Had to go grab some today. So without making another trip and messing all around before I go fishing, I just swapped it out with this reel, which was my extra spare reel. It's I believe this is made by Shakespeare. I know it's not it's a cheaper reel, but the reason why I bought this is because it's got the drag on the back, which I don't know if that's just a rare thing and not everybody messes around with it, but I think this is kind of a little bit better for when you're fighting a fish. If you got like big fish, when I go catfishing and stuff, um, I have to mess around with my drag. So I don't want that line to be so tight and the drag to be so tight that I'm going to end up losing a fish. So when I saw this at the store, it was like $12. I mean, it's really cheap. It works pretty good. I haven't really noticed any issues with the quality of it, but this here, I mean, it's a little bit easier. I don't catch huge fish with this reel, ironically, but it's my extra reel. I'm not that worried about it. So I probably will end up respooling some line on my Shimano reel eventually, but probably, hopefully, within the next few days before I go off to school. Um, so just to talk about it, I got paired up on here as an inline spinner. Where I've been fishing a lot lately, you don't have a lot of like crankbait or jig bites, but they do just devour inline spinners. And I mean, I'm just gonna throw an inline spinner and catch more fish. Um, so this here is a new one I bought. I've caught a couple on this one, but I normally do throw it's like just a silver blade that I actually found. I retrieved it out of the one of the ponds I fished at. I snagged into the line and was able to bring it on shore, and I just flat out catch fish with it. I don't know what it is. It's old. It doesn't even have the hair at the bottom anymore. But no matter what, I'm always catching fish with it. So that's enough time on the spinning reel and the spinning rod. The bait caster I'm gonna bring. This was tougher because I've got a couple of really good rods that I bought, and I've got another one that's actually on the way. I bought it for the um, deposit program for Sixco, and it's a new rod that they're just coming out with. So I really would like to bring that. I'll probably get that around October. But my biggest thing is I don't want to bring a lot of expensive gear out with me. Like for instance, I play guitar. I'm not bringing my most expensive guitar out there. I'm going to bring one of my cheaper guitars just in case anything were to happen, it gets broken or God forbid somebody decides that they need it more than I do. So for my spinning rod that I'm bringing, another thing that I kept in mind, or not my spinning rod, I'm sorry, my bait caster, another thing I kept in mind is I'm going to need something that can break down in a two-piece rod, because I don't want to take up all kinds of room in my dorm room, as well as if I do go fishing and it's raining outside or something, I can just put it in the back, the back seat area of my truck instead of leaving it in the back of my truck. Or, let's say I want to just leave all of my gear in my truck. I don't have a tonneau cover, I don't have a cap, I don't have anything that is covering this stuff. So, like I said before, if someone decides that they, want to be gifted one of my fishing rods, I don't want to come out and see my truck empty. So, I took my first bait caster I bought. It was a combo. It was made by Shakespeare. I think they call it Agility is the model of it. But it's a two-piece rod, and it came with like a 5 or 6 3-to-1 gear ratio, something like that reel. I don't mess around with the reel. The reel is packed away, and I'm not really using it. But I wanted to use the rod because of that two-piece. I don't really like using two-piece rods, especially when they get up towards like a 7-foot range. But you got to do what you got to do. And I don't want to bring any of the rods that I'm bringing out to college. I don't want them to be like $100 rods or anything more than that, because, while I'm out at school, I'm only going to be working very little, so I'm not going to have the money to replace it. So here's the spinning rod I got. This is the Shakespeare. This is a medium heavy two-piece. It said it's Agility. And I paired it up with a 6-scale Creus reel, because that's actually, I bought these and I'm actually pro staff to these guys. And I mean, this reel is the smoothest reel I've ever had. Durable too. I mean, I catch big fish with it. And just, I'm blown away with this reel. I would have never thought that a reel like this, with a market that has reels going for like, $300-400, I would never expect that a reel like this would only cost, I believe I paid like, I think it's like 130, 140, something like that. And it was buy one get one free, which I do have a lot of. So I was able to get 2 of these. I got one that is for my crank rod, which that one is a 6 3-to-1, I believe. And this one here is a 7 1-to-1. So here's my little rig here. Like I said, it's 6-scale Creus, spinning around. I'm inside, so hopefully I don't knock anything over. Creus reel, and I'm really hoping that I'll be able to do good with this. So that's it for my reels and my rods, and let me show you what my baits are going to look like. Alright guys, what baits am I bringing with me to college? Before I go into the bag that I have packed, believe it or not, while I was filming, I keep saying that, I don't know why I keep saying that, while I was filming the first part of this video, the mail truck showed up and delivered a couple of baits from Logix Baits, which is a company that I'm now pro staff for. Just recently, they make crankbaits, frogs, poppers, all kinds of baits. So I just got what I had ordered from them, and I've got 2 different baits. One's a detonator and one is a stealth crankbait. So we'll start with this. I believe this one is the detonator. Still got it in its packaging. Just figured, a little bit extra packing for right now, since I'm about to leave for college, would probably be better than just throwing it in a box. Also, I kind of want to differentiate them with any other lure or any other crankbaits I have, so I can work on using these and see how well they perform, and possibly have another video for you guys coming up just using these crankbaits. So yeah, I believe this one's a detonator. I got it, and I forgot what their actual name for it was, but it's definitely a sexy shad color. Well, close to it, but Yeah, I think this one's gonna work pretty good. And I believe this one here is a stealth. The detonator, I believe, was a like up to 20-foot deep diving crankbait. This one here, I believe, is 8 feet, but it's pretty much your standard size crankbait. But I mean, it looks like they're pretty good quality on this too. I mean, they do have some rattles in them. But yeah, definitely a little bit more time they spend in the paint than a lot of these other companies I see. And you might see some that I have in my tackle bag that I'm going to be bringing with me to school. That, yeah, when they paint them, it's just kind of like done. I mean, they don't put a lot into them. So, anyways, there's those baits. Let's get into the boxes I'm going to bring. First off, one of the boxes I'm definitely going to be bringing, which is pretty much I always leave it in my truck. Even though I'm running low on them and I'm going to be replacing them, but you still using this box probably with some of those cranked wiki worms, because they seem to be a really good stick bait or stick worm, whatever you want to call them. So I'm going to be ordering some of those once I get everything rolling for college. And I'm going to be filling this up. But right now, this here is a Gary Yamamoto Senko kit. I bought this at Dick's. It was like 30-40 bucks. But it comes with, what? We got six different color Senkos. Now, I put all these Senkos in plastic bags because I want to keep them kind of fresh. I mean, these you don't really have to worry about it, but just I leave these in my truck and it gets really hot in there. And I don't know if you guys are in New York, but lately it's been really humid. Even though we're not getting as warm as down south or some of the places out west, it's still getting really humid, and I'm noticing a lot of my baits are kind of starting to become a liquid again. So here's the kit. Probably really can't see the baits inside them that well, but it's just in a Plano box. I've also got my wacky tool in there as well, and this is a really good kit for beginners. I really do think that if you're just starting out and you're using some worms and stuff, get yourself a kit like this or go over to Cranked. You're probably going to be cheaper off going to Cranked and buying a spectrum of colors. It's just this here, I got this before I signed up with Cranked, and I thought that you kind of get lost in the whole, well, this person says that these are the baits to use and you have to use this bait and all that. You get lost in it, and regardless, a lot of these baits you can use other brands. You don't have to use the Gary Yamamoto. Just because they're the ones that maybe designed it or are the top brand for it. $6 you pay for one bag of Senkos. And I mean, to me, you've got cheaper brands out there, and then you've got smaller businesses that are trying to grow, and I really do like to support smaller businesses and stuff. So when I saw that Cranked was around, and when they came out with their soft plastics, I had to jump on board because $6, like I said, for a bag of worms is kind of pricey, and you're getting just as good of a quality with Cranked, especially since they mold them all by hand. And you'll see if you do follow their Instagram, they're constantly posting videos of them with these molds. So I would definitely check that out. So like I said, a box of stick worms or Senkos, whatever you want. Another box that should be a little bit heavier, but I kind of don't want to bring so much I end up losing stuff. This is a box that has some of my jigs. Has a top water on there, which is just because I had it tied on and I brought this bag out with me the other day. Had to cut it off of my rod. So I also use this for my hooks, some weights and stuff. But while I'm out at school, luckily there is a Bass Pro Shop like about 5 minutes away, so I can restock on some of the gear that I don't have to order. I can restock that and fill up my boxes. I've got some hooks. I've got a couple of weights, I think like 3 weights in here, but like I said, I'm going to be buying more. I've got some spinners that you can add on to your swim baits, your soft plastic swim baits. I've got a Texas rig already rigged up that I had to cut off the other day. Like I said, I got a topwater. I got a Danny the Duck, got from Mystery Tackle Box. I was throwing this the other day. The action on it is awesome, but I didn't catch anything. Probably wasn't the best time to go out in top water, like midday, but you know, we're definitely going to keep giving this a shot. I've got some pegs right here. Got a chatterbait. I gotta find out where I put it, but I do have some of my cranked vibing jigs, but I do have some chatterbaits just to give it a shot. Another chatterbait. That's one actually, I had a problem with my Mystery Tackle Box. They had a exclusive like purple chatterbait that they threw in on one of their tackle boxes. I think it might have been either early spring or last fall. I want to say it was early spring. But the one I had, the clip that you tie onto was actually broken. So I swapped it out, or I got a hold of them, they swapped it out for me and sent me this one here. It's not the same one, but you know, that's a little bit different color to work with. It's kind of like purplish, reddish with some yellow. So haven't tied that on yet, but I'll give that a shot. Got a swim jig. I believe this is KVD. And then I've got some just some other hooks and jig heads, stuff like that. Moving on, I've got kind of a swim bait box. I don't really throw a lot of swim baits, so I didn't bring a whole hell of a lot. I also have a frog in here, another Mystery Tackle Box frog I just got. Definitely going to give this a shot here too, but I don't really have a frog rod, so that is to be coming up in the future. Some harder swim baits. I really do like the action of these. Haven't gotten a fish on one of these yet, but I've got a bluegill and then I've got a glide bait, which is a trout. So maybe I'll have some luck with those up at college. Also have some softer swim baits, like I believe this is with a Roadrunner head, but I'm not sure what that trailer is. And then I've got this big thing. I got this in a Mystery Tackle Box as well. Haven't used it yet, but it has a big swim bait head, like a kind of like a crankbait bill on it. And then here's the bait. So I'll have to throw that out a couple times while I'm up at school as well. Then I've got my crankbait slash, I've got a Zara Spook in there. I've got some poppers, some jerk baits. I've got a lot in here. So I'm not going to go through all of this, but this is probably going to really have so much in it eventually. I want to find out what the fish are biting on when I go up to school. So here is my crankbait slash jerkbait slash popper slash everything box. And you'll see I do have those little green like hook keepers or hook hiders, whatever you want to call them. I got those in the Mystery Tackle Box as well, and I really do like those because I absolutely hate cutting hooks out of my clothes and out of my truck seats. So buy some of those, they really do help. The last box I'm actually going to be bringing with me, this is like my multi-species box. I've got inline spinners and spoons and some of those small like crappie jigs and stuff. some really small hooks. I don't use this that much, but I want to have this out there with me in case, let's say I'm out there and I meet someone at the college that is into crappie fishing or trout fishing, and they know spots up there because I'm going to an area I've never fished before. And from everything I've heard, the only real fishing out there, unless you drive up to Oneida Lake, is the Mohawk River. So I'm probably going to be fishing the Mohawk River since I don't have a boat and I'm not sure how accessible Oneida Lake is on shore. So, but here's my box that has all like my multi-species spinners and hooks and all that. Ignore this. There's none of that stuff in here anymore. But yeah. So I've got that too. I also have some power bait. I've never had luck with power bait before, but I always have it because I'm always looking to have a new bait that I catch fish on. So I've got some, they call them trout nuggets. I've got some trout bait, it's pink with glitter. And then I've got extra scent glitter trout bait. Like I said, I haven't caught anything, but you know, I know a lot of people talk about catching fish on this. Like my dad says that they're supposed to be really good, but I've never seen him catch fish on them either. So that's it, guys. That's what I'm going to be bringing out to school with me. If you have any suggestions on stuff I should obtain, you know, different things to get while I'm out there, definitely leave a comment below. And if you like this video, you know, like it. And subscribe to the channel so you can see some of the other videos that are coming up. I'm trying to do some more videos in bulk before I leave. And hopefully I'll be getting a microphone for my action camera soon. And you'll see a lot more videos coming up while I'm out at school. But for now, I'm going to make some of these like small one-on-one type of videos, whatever you want to call them. Vlogs, I think they're called vlogs. But I'm going to make more of these here. To kind of have some videos, so I'm not just okay, here's a video once a month, you know. I'm trying to avoid that. I really am. So like I said, definitely subscribe so you can see when I post a new video. And I'm going to leave a link down in the description for Logix, for their crankbaits and other baits that they have, their Logix baits. Give them a shot. You know, take a look at some of their crankbaits. I'm going to be having some videos, hopefully, coming up of me using their crankbaits and maybe some of their frogs. And we'll see, you know, how good they work. They really do look promising, though. I can tell, I mean, they look, I mean, I'm not a huge crankbait fisherman, but they do kind of look a little bit better than maybe like some of the Rapalas or the Strike King. It's just a really good looking bait. It looks like it's a little heavy duty. Even the big one's got a rattle on it. But I'm even probably going to be using these today. So we will see with those. Also, the cranked jigs and their plastics, I'm going to leave a link for them as well. I want you to check them out because I've had really good luck with their jigs. And now that they've got their plastics rolling, I really do feel like I'm going to have good luck with them. They're already scented and they look awesome. I mean, I was even throwing them kind of over by some of the crayfish that are in the river, and you know, they look very close. So check them out, as well as Six Gill. I know that right now they're doing a buy one get one free on some of their rods. Definitely check that out. They're worth it. They're really good quality, and just hop on the sale while you can. I mean, 2 rods for the price of 1. Where can you go wrong? Especially when you know that they're really good quality. And you know, I still kind of kick myself in the butt for not buying them, but I've got some really big debt that I'm going to have to pay off here, and also moving expenses and all that. So for the next one, maybe. But like I said, again, guys, Thanks for watching this video, and you know, have fun out there, guys.